When did you realize you liked writing? के अब मलाई लेख्न मन लाग्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ अथवा did someone inspire you? How did this come about?
Actually, when I had read Yota Kitab or something, I had read this one sentence कि whenever you feel too down or too upset and so low, that is when you know that you're a poet, and maybe that worked for me because 11-12 I actually felt very very low because of various reasons, personal reasons पनि थियो, but also because of my academic background and all गर्दाखेरि because I actually became very down त्यो बेलामा because स्कुलमा I was a very good student and 11-12 आउँदाखेरि I went completely down and that really broke me, and there were other personal reasons as well, and त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I actually started to express myself through writing, and I would show it to people and they would admire it, and that gave me a lot more confidence as well.
Okay. तपाईँको साथीहरूले पनि रिक्वेस्ट गरिरहनु भएको छ. So you're going to share कति 5 or 6 poems भन्नुभएको थियो होइन?
Not 5 or 6, but I have got a couple of them.
Okay. Let's start with one. पहिले अहिले नै तपाईँले 2टा सुनाउनु भयो नि फेरि तपाईँको साथीहरूले पछि अझ प्रेसर लगाउँछन् होइन? अर्को once more भने त्यो एउटा चाहिँ once more लाई राख्नुला पछिलाई. So let's start with one.
Okay, so this I'm actually very inexpressive about my writings, but I'm sharing it this time. Uh, this is okay. This was also in my Instagram, but for the first poem, I'm going to share this one. I hear birds chirping in my ears with their audacious sound as I sit under a small cherry tree in the garden. The pink leaves falling down all over me. I gaze above at the sky, bewildered upon the uncanny shapes of the clouds. I look around baffled and mystified by the beauty of the rose, the devotion of the sunflower, the unostentatious simplicity of the lotus floating on the scintillating water, and the mediocrity of the marigold. Makes you realize what a great artist God really is. I close my eyes not to shed another drop of tear over the same misfortune, but to feel the smell of the flowers that take me miles away from here and makes me want to dance in the song of love. I want to dance with my anklets, making dulcet memories of love, so I could contemplate the idea of seeing you, of touching you. The memories that we have had can now only be real in imaginations, but my very existence is a proof that it occurred. But then I open my eyes just to realize how the very beauty of the place I'm in is just a facade. I'm actually in a prison, fettered with manacles around my anklets. I am chained in my feet and in my thoughts. I am free to watch, but I am restricted to dance in my own melodies. Meanwhile, the pages that I was carrying in my hands suddenly run out of my fingers and scatter away, and I try to reach them but in vain. I cry in melancholy of losing something I thought I couldn't live without, and I shout on top of my lungs, how can I live without these that contain everything that I have gone through? Suddenly, a raucous voice from inside of me says, that's exactly why you should let them go. So I let the papers fly away, far, far away from my sight, and a slight glow lights my face like never before. As soon as my heart starts to feel light from the burden, the manacles open from the feet and makes me free to jump, not in the contemplation of love, but in the joy of freedom and happiness of my very existence. It was nothing like I imagined, but it was beautiful. And so I stand barefoot on the wet grass as my feet feel tepid, and so does my heart.
Nice. मलाई
So
चाहिँ गजब लाग्यो.
this was actually this poem is very close to my heart because if you really look at it closely, it's about like a person sitting in a garden, beautiful gardens like them beautiful, and I'm cherishing everything, and suddenly I realize that it's not actually a beautiful garden, it's actually a prison. And much chained through सबतिर, and it's like a prison, and सबतिर manacles छ in my body, and I am restricted to do anything. And the papers हातबाट गएपछि चाहिँ, the manacles suddenly open, and then I start to dance. So it's basically how हामी आफ्नो मनभित्र कति बर्डन्सहरू राखिराखेको हुन्छौँ, but once you actually let that away, you can actually dance in the song of love.
नाइस नाइस एक्सप्लेनेसन। मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्थ्यो भने जस्तो भनौँ पोम्सहरू सुन्दाखेरि युजली राइटरले जे लेख्न खोजेको भए पनि
Yeah,
मेरो अधिकार छ, मैले त्यसलाई जस्तो पनि पर्सिभ गर्न सक्छु नि त। एन्ड द्याट्स अल्सो ब्युटी अफ पोम्स, किन भन्दाखेरि इट क्यान मिन सो मेनी डिफ्रेन्ट थिङ्स टु सो मेनी डिफ्रेन्ट पिपल, राइट? सो वाइ इज इट सो हार्ड फर पोट्स टु share their poems with the world?
because it contains so much of what we have gone through, so much of what we are, that it's just our own. Yo mero matri ho bhane jasto, and it's very difficult to exhibit it in front of the world.
And what happens when you do?
Nothing happens, but it's just one's own preference, if you really want to show yourself to the world or not.
Okay. अनि एउटा गुड पोम हुनलाई चाहिँ what are the 3 main ingredients?
I don't think there's anything called a bad poetry. I really don't believe in that, because and I guess I'm not qualified to talk about it, because there are very very excellent poets that I know, and उनीहरूको अगाडि I'm just nothing. It's just I'm just expressing myself. So I'm not qualified to answer that question. I'm sorry.
तपाईँले भर्खरै कन्ट्रडिक्ट गर्नुभयो नि त होइन? देयर इज नो सच थिङ एज ब्याड पोएट्री भनिरहनु भएको छ, अनि फेरि देयर एक्सेलेन्ट पोएट एन्ड आइ एम नथिङ, अनि
No.
कन्ट्रडिक्सन
No, what I mean is, for me, there is nothing like a bad poetry, but my opinion doesn't really count in front of those elite poets, because they're professional writers, and so I don't think I hold any qualification to talk about what a poem should contain.
ओके। म चाहिँ एकदम यो कुरामा चाहिँ के भन्ने लिबरल छु कि जसले पनि पोएट्रीको बारेमा बोल्न पाउँछ, जसले पनि क्रिटिक गर्न पाउँछ भन्ने विचार छु होइन। यु डोन्ट रियली एक्चुली निड अ क्वालिफिकेसन होइन। मोस्ट अफ द टाइम्स राइटरले जे लेख्न खोजे हो हामीले बुझिरहेको हुँदैन, तर म आफूले भन्नु न, किन हामी भनिरहनु, म चाहिँ आफ्नै मिनिङ्स लगाएर हुन्छु, आफ्नै अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ लगाएर हुन्छु। आइ एम भेरी गुड एट जजिङ पोम्स, अनि मलाई क्वालिफिकेसनै चाहिँदैन, किन भन्दाखेरि कसले आएर के भन्छ। तर सो तपाईँले आफूले पोएट्री लेख्दाखेरि, पोएट्री लेख्दाखेरि, पोम्स लेख्दाखेरि तपाईँले दे मस्ट बी समथिङ द्याट टेल्स यु ओके यो पोम मैले लेखेको मलाई चित्त बुझ्यो, यो चाहिँ चित्त बुझेन, यसमा यो कुरा चित्त बुझेन भन्ने त अभियसली देयर इज समथिङ लाइक द्याट नि होइन?
Yeah, I guess कहिलेकाहीँ चित्त बुझ्छ, कहिलेकाहीँ बुझ्दैन।
ओके, सो म क्वेसनलाई रिफ्रेस गर्छु नि त। अब तपाईँलाई कस्तो खालको पोमले चाहिँ चित्त बुझाउँछ, अनि वाट डु यु थिङ्क मेन इन्ग्रिडियन्ट्स चाहिँ मेन इन्ग्रिडियन्ट भयो भने चाहिँ तपाईँलाई चित्त बुझ्छ पोममा?
I think one thing that really doesn't satisfy me is पोएमहरूमा त्यो एकदम complex vocabulary हुन्छ नि. That is something that I really don't feel required, because literature is always simple जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ, that most people should relate and most people should understand. So language चाहिँ simple होस्, and त्यो ठाउँको मतलब, if you are wanting to be a professional writer, or if you want people to read your poems, then I guess जुन ठाउँमा you want the poem to be read, त्यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ people should relate to your poems. It's not like ke bhairach yo what is being talked about भन्दाखेरि पनि people should be able to relate, or that counts for novels also. You know, people should be able to relate to a character or to the poet or something. And the third thing would be good choice of words, I guess. Like कहिलेकाहीँ भन्न खोजेको एउटा, and yeah, plus there has to be a, for me personally, there has to be like एउटा specific element of choice of words ले गर्दाखेरि मान्छेहरूले आफैले गर्न like आफैले interpret गर्न सकोस्, like you said. Like it doesn't have to be like the poet is trying to say something and त्यही नै होस् भन्ने भन्दाखेरि पनि like रिडरले आफैले इन्टरप्रेट गर्न सकोस्, आफैले बुझ्न सकोस् जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ.